Part 2 of my Grenville journey saw me fish in Swim 3. Swim 3 is in the same bay as the cabin swims, and I targeted the same weed beds as I'd fished in Part 1. After a successful second session, I returned hoping my run good would continue. I returned to the lake 3 weeks later, and on arrival there were only 2 other anglers fishing. The wind was a westerly, the same as it was at the end of my last session, and with this in mind and based on my last session, I decided to go back into Swim 3. With all the rods positioned to where I fished previously, I had high hopes in repeating my success. Unfortunately, the rods remained motionless throughout the session, and as we move through the seasons, I know the carp are going to be more localised and I'd have to work much harder for the bites. Something I knew I needed to take into account for the next session. Session 4 was another 3 weeks on and brought us to the end of October, and after the blank session in Swim 3, I knew I needed to look at other areas of the lake as we move into autumn. The northern section of the lake has a large area of deeper water, and there's also an area which no anglers can touch simply because it's out of casting range. As always, I started my session by visiting Paul's cabin to see who was on the lake.
Right then, I just had a catch up, so we're on to the next session. Just had a catch up with a member, Stuart, who was fishing in 19. So this is the current map. So there's a few people dotted around. There's a guy down in the bottom corner. There's a guest and one of the members in 32 and 33. There's a chap down here in Swim 6. And yeah, there's still a guy here. So this guy in 18 is leaving, the guy in 6 is leaving, a guy just packed up in 19. On the fish front, I believe the last fish was in Swim 18. Stuart has just said that someone in 18 caught a small one. So there are fish coming out here. He said the biggest problem was the weed. At the moment the wind is a northerly wind, so it's kind of coming down here, and the wind is due to do a southerly, which basically pushes up into this corner, yeah, straight up like that. So he said the weed could be a bit of a problem if I go up into this corner, which is where I did want to go up in here. The temperature at the moment is about 9.5 degrees, so I'm not too sure what to do on that front, but 5 and 6 is definitely on my radar because Paul was last fishing. Roger Bacon was last fishing 33 long out here. The closest I can get to that is probably from 5 and 6. So I'm going to have a little walk around, put my boots on and see if I can see anything.
Okay, this is Swim 30. I've just been on the bank where Swim 6 is. Oh, I'm sure it's heard a fish. Anyway, I've just been down on the bank. Oh yeah, straight out here. Straight out there. Definitely some movement. That's a real good sign. So in line with that taller tree, just for my own reference, just there. See the ripples coming off? So I'm currently stood in Swim 30. That's what I've earmarked for now, and seeing that is perfect. There's quite a chill in the air at the moment. It's around about 9.5, 10 degrees, so it's quite cold. So what I'm thinking is the wind's meant to change. At the moment it's a northerly, so that's why it's a bit cooler. So what I'm thinking is the wind's going to be a southerly, and the southerly basically comes straight off my back where I am now and comes straight out to here. So this area out here is generally shallower, and then it goes deep. Where that fish showed is deep to the right hand side of it, almost straight down to the right there. It goes down to 30 odd foot. So my thinking is, with it being cooler, the fish might like to sit on the back of the wind, but that out there was a very good sign. So I think with only a couple of nights, this is probably my best bet. With my swim decided, I put my tag onto the hook and went back to the swim to get set. As I returned, I saw more carp showing, which gave me even more confidence I'd chosen the right swim. Before unloading all the gear, I decided to get the bait prep done. This consisted of crumbed up krill and 10mm Essential Cell boilies. I also loaded it up with some krill liquid with the aim to make a heavy but attractive mix.
Camera's down there getting a time lapse. Little update for you, a chap has gone in, I think it's 23. It's basically, I think it's along this bank here, it's on the back bank there. And he said he's seen fish out here as well, fairly long. But I'm definitely going to be going out where there's a bit of whatever it is in the wind there. Lost my words. But back here is absolute carnage. I basically unloaded the van, everything's here. The next step now is to find a spot and put a bit of bait in and put 3 rigs over the top. That is simply what I'm going to do. Nothing too complicated. Right, just repositioned the camera. I've had a little bit of a lead about. I started off where I saw the fish straight out, but that's where it's really deep. If you look on the contour map, straight out, dead ahead is basically 30 odd foot. But as you come to the left, to the right of where the 2 swans are, that's where it starts to come up. So I've cast out just to the right where that right hand swan is, quite long. I don't know the distance yet, but there's a very faint bit of gravel out there. It's quite a long way even with this, so I'm expecting it not to be that short really. That's a little bit to the left, but see, that's softer there. It's definitely shallow enough. That's all weed. That's weed. That's all weed. Weed. Okay, so that's good that I've cast into there, because now I know. Just going to recast to the right hand side, basically in line with that swan. That was a little bit to the left, that one. If I can get this bang on, there is a lovely spot here. Weed can't be that bad because it's coming off quite easy. That's it.